Good morning. This is Heather Thompson, podcasting for Machine Knitters, except for today, we're doing a little video, because I owe a lot, and I'm going to catch up. I'm going to do it fast. This morning I'm going to work on a stash buster. This is a baby footie that can be completed in 7 minutes. Because I'm videotaping it, probably won't get done in 7 minutes, but we'll go as quickly as we can. I'm going to explain the steps as we go. This is being done on the LK-150 Midgauge. I'm working with worsted weight yarn, just a nondescript worsted weight. The stitch dial is at 7 and a dot. Can you see that it's at 7 and a dot? 7 and a dot. I have pulled 14 needles out to hold position. I'm going to E-wrap these 14 needles. Your row counter should be set on 0. To start, I'm going to create a slip knot. I'm going to place that on the first needle on the left, and then I'm going to E-wrap across the remaining 13 needles. E-wrapping is done counterclockwise on the main bed. Once I have these 13 remaining needles E-wrapped, I'm going to go ahead and thread my carriage, making sure that the rustle levers on the LK-150 and any other silver reed mid-gauge are in the 2 position. This means that needles in hold position will knit. I'm going to knit 1 row. Now I'm going to add 2 claw weights. I'm going to pull it forward just a little bit so I can get in there, so I'm not catching my knit stitches. Okay, so we have 2 claw weights added. We're going to begin short row decreasing now. This is going to be short row with an automatic wrap, so I'm going to take the first needle on the left hand side and I'm going to place it in hold position. My rustle levers need to be to position 1 on both sides. I'm going to knit 1 row. Now I'm placing the first needle on the right hand side into hold position. You'll note that the first needle on the left did not knit. I'm going to go ahead and knit a 2nd row. And now I'm going to continue bringing needles to hold position until only 4 needles are in work. You'll notice I'm using my hands to kind of pull down and make sure that my work has knitted off. This is kind of important to do because if the knitting doesn't knit, you're going to end up with holes and or an unraveled project at the end. So, until there are 4 needles in work, I continue decreasing. You can also move up your weights or add an additional weight at this point, or at any point that you feel you need a little more weight. There are 4 needles in work. Now I'm going to begin short row increasing by pushing the first needle in hold position opposite side of the carriage. The carriage is over here. So the first needle opposite the side of the carriage into forward working position. And I'm going to knit 1 row. By the way, that row count was 11 when you had your 4 needles in work. So we continue increasing until all needles are in work. Remember to move up your weights as needed. Ooh. I need to adjust my tensioner just a little bit here. Oh, it would be good if the yarn was even in the tensioner. Oops. Sorry, didn't mean to bump you. Whew. Everybody all right? Okay, I'm going to continue increasing. Okay, all the needles are now in work. I'm going to go ahead and short row decrease again, and this will be for the toe. And again, we're working the decrease until we only have 4 needles remaining in work. Remember to move up your claw weights unless you're weighting by hand. I do tend to use my hands on my knitting quite a bit. You'll notice that sometimes as I'm putting a needle out of work to hold position, I push back a little bit. That's to make sure that it's knitted fully. And now we're down to 4 needles in work. I'm going to begin my short row increasing now. Okay, now you have all your needles back in work. At this point, what I do is bring up the side stitch from the first row of knitting and place it on the edge needles. The reason that I do this is for just a closer edge on the foot. Makes it look a little bit more closed up. I'm going to knit one more row. Notice at this point your row count is 41. This will be row 42. Okay, so now I have 42 rows. I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn. And then I'm going to take a long tail of yarn and thread it on a tapestry needle. In this case, I'm going to use a double-eyed bodkin, which just happens to be handy here. So I'm just going to thread this. And what you want is to use use the yarn doubled at this point. So now that I've got it threaded, I'm going to pull it all the way through. And I'm going to begin to place this yarn through each of the stitches. Now what I do is I take a whole bunch at a time and then pull my yarn through. Not all the way through, because you have a goal with this. This is the gathered part. And then I continue across to the remaining stitches. Now I've gotten all my stitches picked up. I'm going to clip the yarn at one end, remove my work from the machine, take all the weights off. I'm going to gather the open stitches that are on that doubled length together, and then I'm going to tie a knot. And then I'll double it, trim it, and here we have an adorable baby bootie. "9 minutes, 50 seconds, not bad.